Happy What's Current Wednesday, y'all. What you're hearing in the background is the current, the ocean current, currently on an island. And today's episode is called Sean Solo, because Sean's going to so graciously take it over to let me get back to this recovery from this beach run. I just wanted to jump in here real quick and also wish a special happy birthday to my day one homie, Chaa Newsome, all the way out in Seattle, whose birthday was yesterday, about this time last year. We did his bachelor party in Austin, Texas, a weekend I'll never forget, most of it anyways. And also, happy birthdays to my fiance's brother and mother this week. And now, I'm going to get out of the way. Y'all have a good week. All right, Sean, hit him with some value.
Talking dirty was my middle name, but I went and gone and changed it. Yeah, but I still love to do them little things, try to live a little dangerous. Been on the low, but you know I've been trying to keep it cool. Ain't for sure, just some toes dipping low in the swimming pool. But that's alright, lose ourselves in track of time. I don't mind, I know you don't either.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of What's Current. It is Wednesday, July 29th. That is crazy. The fact that we are nearly all the way through July. Time is flying. On today's episode, you got me, Sean. Luns is actually enjoying a much-needed vacation. He and the lady are down on a beach somewhere tropical. You know, we can't really divulge those details. You know, it's not cool with the private island ownership. So we hope our boy Kev's enjoying his much needed break. And so this week we were kind of talking, Kev and I, back and forth, that maybe I'll give this week a shot of just it being a solo Sean episode. And throughout the time that we've been kind of working on this podcast, that is something that we've talked about, that there will be some weeks where I'll have to take over or he'll have to take over due to either one of our other priorities or things we got going on. So, you know, at the end of the day, what we both talk about a lot is the momentum of just keeping things going. And I think that this week's episode is kind of a perfect example of that there might have been a lot of excuses where Kev and I couldn't have gotten together this week to make it work, but being a team and kind of working on the same project and both being committed to it, we're going to find a way to come together this week and provide some value. So I always kind of try to look at those little things where it's not just talking about it, you're actually backing it up with a little bit of action and gaining that momentum to achieve whatever other goals you got in line. And anyways, it's also kind of a cool segue into just the idea of taking time off for vacation and finding that balance between working hard and chasing success and happiness and fulfillment, but also giving your body and your mind a little bit of time to kind of recuperate and to get ready for that next push. I know that it can be hard sometimes for all of us to get time off work or even just find time to actually relax, or even just those little mini breaks throughout the day. But I think it's definitely something I want to start doing, just truly making it a habit to take a little vacation. And, you know, it doesn't have to be some grand tropical trip around the world or trip to Europe. I mean, it can be something short and sweet. So it's kind of a good reminder. So Kev, appreciate the motivation to get me to schedule a vacation. I know there's plenty of people that I need to go make visits to, all across the country, really. So I got plenty of options there. So, anyways, kind of what's current as far as things on my end. Just had an awesome weekend trip, celebrating my buddy Kevin's birthday. Shout out Kevin, happy 32nd birthday. We did a little canoeing and kayaking yesterday up in Urbana, Ohio. I believe it was Birch Lake, I think it was called. I had never been out that way before, but kind of a similar Hocking Hills vibe. Kind of cool to disconnect, get away from the city for a little bit, and spend some time with friends. And yeah, just kind of relax, kind of along the same line what we were just talking about, kind of taking a break from the daily stresses and whatnot, and just kind of turning things off, turning the mind off, and just living. I've definitely kind of found myself more into that frame of mind right now. I think when you've been running for a long time and really pushing things at a fast pace, that it can be just, it's so refreshing to slow down a little bit and get ready for the next big push. But yeah, I think that this weekend was a good time to kind of reflect on some of the things that Kevin and I have been talking about on the podcast, with kind of slowing down, being present. And there's really no better time to do that, I think, than when you're meeting new people. And you can kind of like really put some of those ideas to practice. Nothing like meeting a new person and committing to yourself internally that you are going to remember their name, no matter the circumstances of what's going on at that time you're meeting them, but you're going to remember the name. I did that a couple of times this weekend. It was cool. I'm typically terrible with names, and I think it comes back to a lack of presence sometimes, or letting the rush and emotion of meeting someone for the first time kind of overpower your brain's ability to remember a name. So little stuff there, but yeah. So Kev's on the beach this week, and then next week I will actually be heading out to Las Vegas for a little mini vacation myself. So, yeah, it's like I was just saying earlier, it's hard to believe it's already late July and the summer is burning past. It's always a time of mixed emotions for myself. I'm definitely a summer person. If it were up to me, I'd go summer year round. I just love the sun, love the warmth, the ability to kind of be outside and just be comfortable. At least for me, the heat is comfortable. So definitely will be interesting to head out to the West Coast, or at least the Vegas area, experience some of that dry heat compared to the humidity here in the Midwest. But definitely looking forward to that. And kind of while we're talking about the future here, I figured I'd kind of give everybody an update. If you have been listening to our podcast the last month now, we've got 4 episodes out, that most of the styles of our episodes have been relatively similar, each one with me and Kev kind of talking about various topics and whatnot. This week is a different format with just me. And just to kind of give you a heads up of some things that we are planning for the future, we're planning on getting some guests on here. It's kind of some interview style guests that Kev and I would kind of bring on the show, and just people with different interesting backgrounds, and people that we know personally that we think that we admire, that provide value for us, and that we think would provide some cool entertainment. So just want to give everybody a little heads up on that's kind of some things that are to come in the What's Current podcast. Just try to kind of keep things moving forward. That was always a goal of ours, was kind of that interview style for various people. So we're working through that process. I know I've touched base with several people who may be listening that are potential potential guests, and yeah, we'll be reaching out to you guys. So yeah, that's kind of one way we'll be going. I know last week Kev threw on some of his new music onto the podcast. That's sweet. And you know, we're kind of just we're a blank canvas right now, and we definitely are all about kind of supporting other businesses as well. As you know, we show love to them, they show love to us, that kind of thing. So just a little update on those types of things. I'm starting to realize that this is definitely a challenge to solely co-host a podcast. Like, mad props to all those people that do that, because you kind of just feel like you're talking to yourself, and it's a little odd, but at the same time, I kind of like it. It's almost like you're journaling. I've never been a journaler, but it's almost like audio journaling. So just kind of a brain dump of all the things that are going on right now. So kind of cool. If you're interested in never doing it, I would say check it out. Create a voice memo on your phone or something. And then complain about how weird you think your voice sounds, because that's kind of a rite of passage whenever you record anything. So anyways, yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about some things that I recently started doing that have helped me. Maybe in the last couple of weeks, I feel like life is still weird with coronavirus still very prevalent, and kind of being semi-quarantined. I mean, seems like a lot more people are going out now. Obviously, we're wearing masks everywhere, but it doesn't quite feel like the social culture is like 100% back thriving. You know what I mean? It's still a little bit odd. So I think, with that being said, we're still always kind of looking for new ways to kind of fill that void that's been left due to just the crazy year that 2020 has been. So one thing I know has come up a couple of times, but I never was a huge reader growing up. Just, I think, because of like course load with school and whatnot, kept me busy enough that by the time I had free time, I wasn't really. I kind of wanted to turn the brain off, but I've noticed as I've gotten a little bit older, get a little bit more free time, I've been really into audiobooks. So, it's not the same as reading per se, but still kind of absorbing some sort of information. I find, like, one reason I don't like to read hardback books or like a paperback book, just an actual physical book, is I find that the posture that it makes me sit in or lay in while I'm reading is just very uncomfortable. So I kind of like audiobooks from a physical perspective, because I could just be sitting down eating lunch or just laying down, and you're comfortable while still reading. And I think it teaches you to be a good listener as well. So I'm really into audiobooks right now. Anyways, I was really into a lot of nonfiction for past few months, and just reading a lot of different books. I guess rather listening to a lot of books on positive mindset and just tips for success and just positivity and kind of on that wave. I feel like everybody does it at one point in their life, and that was kind of where I was, and I still enjoy that kind of stuff. But over time, I definitely found that my brain was like kind of getting burnt out on that kind of stuff, and it just really needed something fresh, totally new, just do like a 180. And what I ended up doing was downloading just a fiction book, just a story, something that was completely different. And I've found that I've been doing that for like the last week, and it's been a nice change of pace and kind of given my mind kind of a reset, and can kind of mull over some of those more serious ideas that I had been consuming for a while, and just kind of let things relax a little bit by just listening to a story, kind of just like watching a movie, nothing much different than that. So I just think that I've learned over time that kind of works for me, that You know, especially if you're in school or if your job can dominate a lot of your you kind of become lopsided in your brain. You got a big, bulky, like rational side, or vice versa if you're more of an artistic person. But I know for me personally, with an engineering background, that I really enjoy kind of turning that off from time to time in order to like rest those muscles for when they're more suited. If I'm just hanging out at home, having some free time, I don't need to be thinking about numbers and some of more of those like rational side of things. So that's just like a little thing I started doing this week, and I just noticed that I felt like I was more refreshed in the times when I had to be more technical, and just thought I'd share that out there. Another thing I realized was I needed some comedy. I really needed some comedy. You know, sometimes you need to laugh, and that's a sad thing. That you ever thought like how long it was since you laughed at something, and if it ever gets to be too long, like you'll start to notice you're like, man, something's missing. You need some laughter. I found myself in that situation. You know, there's nothing like being a little kid and just like having a case of the giggles. Like, when was the last time you had a case of the giggles? I have a memory of being a kid in like the 3rd grade, getting in trouble because I just could not stop laughing at something silly that the girl sitting next to me was doing, and it was just, you know, just like stuff like that. But in that moment, you're so happy and carefree. So, anyways, I started listening to some stand-up comedy. I really like Sebastian Maniscalco. I think that's how you say his name, but he's hilarious. He's this Italian guy who, I mean, I feel like his comedy's pretty clean. It's just like good old-fashioned humor, and makes me laugh. So those are just a couple things this week to kind of, you know, new little tricks to kind of keep the momentum going, keep the ship on course, if you will. Yeah, that kind of worked for me. And those are all like socially distant things that you can do now too. And the only person you need for those is yourself. So that's always kind of a good, when you have that time to reset. A couple ideas there that have worked for me. And that kind of leads me into just like another little topic here. The whole like working on yourself. And I was just telling my buddy Lloyd this morning that, you know, it's kind of funny when you start to work on yourself, and just start to like really do things and put yourself in situations that will benefit yourself, and, you know, kind of to really think selfishly in a way. Like, I know that can be, you know, you might think that's negative sometimes, but sometimes you have to do that, and kind of like consume content that's going to make you better, or hang out with people that support you and do things that you want to do. And it's funny. I've noticed I've been doing a lot more of that as of late, and just starting to like experience some of those like little like law of attraction type of things, where, you know, you suddenly start to find that the less effort almost that you put into something, or, you know, the more that you're just kind of in the moment and not anxious about what will happen next, that things just kind of unfold naturally. Something I've started to like see firsthand, and that's always exciting when you know, you've kind of been like practicing something and then you start to see the results kind of come in. I don't know, just there's something interesting, just a topic that I figured I'd bring up this week, and would just say that it's powerful to kind of just really, really believe in that kind of stuff. I think can make a difference. and it's definitely something that's kind of helped me. But at the end of the day, as Kevin and I say, that's the goal. This is to kind of provide some value, and for us as well, keep the momentum going, and that's our goal. So anyways, I think I'm going to kind of wrap things up here this week. As I mentioned earlier, keep on the lookout for some future episodes. We're going to get some guests on here, definitely some more music, different styles of episodes, and the length of them could change as well. We try to stick to that kind of 20 to 30 minute sweet spot, but who knows? Kevin and I are talkers. When we get together, it can be like a 6-hour ordeal, and who knows? Hopefully, we'll come into some more long form ones. We also like the idea of kind of just short form podcasts too, just kind of quick hitters, as we would call them. But yeah, as always, we've gotten some feedback from some of our listeners that we appreciate, and we would just say to keep letting us know what you think, if you like it, and anything that you want to hear about, or just any way that we can make things better. I mean, at the end of the day, this is kind of a creative outlet for Kevin and I, something that we can do with our free time, and kind of something that we think is positive during this year that has had a lot of negativity, and this just feels like a fun way for us to kind of express ourselves and kind of just reach out to people, So we're here, definitely trying to connect with people, and hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope you all have a great week. And thanks for tuning in to episode 5 of What's Current. And we will catch you guys next week for episode 6. Hope you guys enjoy the last couple days of July, and we'll catch you guys in August. See ya.
Don't worry about a thing, love, yeah. Just listen to the music. You ain't even gotta sing, love, yeah. But don't be afraid to use it, yeah. Open up and love, baby. Love, baby. And let the sunlight dance right over you. Over you. It's the season of the marmalade, but don't forget the babe.